Welcome to Education, Leadership Beyond, Surviving and Thriving. My name is Andrew Bravada, host of the show, and welcome to our live viewing audience, proud member of the Education Podcast Network, VoiceHead Radio Canada, wherever you are taking in your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you're at. Thank you for your support. Thanks for tuning in. Leave a comment, leave a positive review, and certainly spread the word about the show. Appreciate you. We are meeting somebody right in my backyard today. We've had people from all over the country on, international we've had on, but right over the river here in North Jersey, we're going to meet superintendent and principal, who gets to do both of those jobs, superintendent and principal Daryle Weiss from the Harmony Township School District, North Jersey. Daryle's got a story. Daryle has a history in education, life, coaching kids, people. And so we're going to hear Daryle's story and certainly hear about the good things happening in the Harmony Township School District. Daryle, appreciate you coming on today. And first, a quick word from IXL. They are friends of the program. The link is in the show notes. And thanks for IXL being a partner with us at Education Leadership Beyond.
Thank you to IXL for sponsoring today's podcast. IXL is the most widely used online learning and teaching platform K-12. Over 1 million teachers use IXL in their classrooms every day. It empowers schools with complete curriculum, robust reporting, assessment data, and more. It saves teachers a lot of valuable time with ready-made plans aligned to the standards of the textbooks. Everything is all integrated into one platform, so you can simplify your EdTech tools. Visit IXL.com to lead students towards data-driven excellence today. The link is in the show notes. And again, thank you to IXL for sponsoring today's podcast.
All right, everyone, let's get started. I have been married 25 years, my high school sweetheart, and Daryle has been married a long time. Where are you, Daryle? 28 years. God bless you, my friend. And you know, you have ups and downs with your spouse. You butt heads sometimes, but in the end, if you're lucky, they're your best friend and the love of your life. And I have that, and I'm blessed. But my wife the other day, she said, listen, her name's Jennifer. She said, listen, I put the Jen in gentle. I put the Jen in gentle. I was roaring laughing. I thought it was the best thing. But that's been a point for her and I about being gentle towards each other, being kind towards each other, being understanding. And so she said, I put the Jen in gentle. And it reminded me to be gentle. Sometimes the people we're closest to, sometimes maybe you work in a small district like Superintendent Weiss and you have that familiarity, right? What is that saying? Say familiarity breeds contempt. Well, sometimes maybe we lose that gentleness or we lose that kindness with those closest to us. And my wife saying, I put the Jen in gentle was a big reminder to me to make sure that I am most gentle and most kind to her and those closest to me. So I wanted to share that. That was the opening concept. Let's bring Superintendent Weiss in, North Jersey. Daryle, welcome to the program, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Andrew. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, Daryle and I met last year in North Jersey. Bam, he came right up. He said, Andrew, we got to connect you and I, and here we are. So thanks for making some time today.
Thanks, man. It's awesome. I love your opening. Keep it gentle and gentle.
Well, tell me about that. You're a school leader. You've been a coach, but you've also been around a long time, Daryle. What was your take on that, putting the Jen in gentle, being gentle to those around us? Are we softening in our later years here, or is that a great leadership strategy?
No, I like to think it's gaining wisdom, and it is a great leadership strategy because, familiarity breeds contempt. You just said it. And, going from being on a college football staff at one point in my career and then being a college head football coach and then transitioning back to the classroom and then into leadership, where I work in an elementary school and the large majority of my staff is female and experienced teachers and master's degrees, very educated people that love and care for our students every single day. And it's not to say that you operate differently, but you certainly have to have that professional respect for that. And always remember that you are the leader. You can't make the mistake and have that familiarity breeds contempt. But if you do, you got to own it and apologize and make sure it never happens again. And I'll share that part of my journey. I was dealing with something, big. You know how it is behind the scenes, something big on the phone, talking to this one, attorney, this, that, all phone calls. And I got a teacher, kind of a really outstanding teacher, someone who's really helped guide me in education since I've been at Harmony, and really cares about our district and our kids and certainly the students in her class. And she had a pressing question. And I was like, I gave her that, hey, I'm too busy for that right now. And that tone was not the right tone. And I got off the phone. I went down and I apologized to her. And I said to her, listen, I apologize and for right now, and tomorrow we're going to clear the deck. Tomorrow morning, if I could have 2 minutes of your time tomorrow morning before school, so I could sit and not make an excuse. There's no excuse for talking like that, for being short with somebody. But if I could just kind of clear the deck with you. And the good part is she's an adult, she's a professional, she's a mom and a wife, and she's got all those same grown-up responsibilities I got. So, and she understood, there's a lot of stress in my job, and being in a small district and being the principal and being the superintendent, if the kids get there at 9 o'clock or 8:40, by 9 o'clock, I've had 335 questions and answered 400 emails because I've been there since 5 a.m. So sometimes it is like, there's that pressure cooker. So remembering to be gentle to others, but also forgiving myself for that, because I brought it up to her again a few weeks later, and she's like, Daryle, that's behind us, man. We're both professionals. You had a moment. I'm going to have my moments. I'm going to challenge you. And I was like, all right, I just appreciate it. So that was a big day for me.
Superintendent Daryle Weiss here in great knowledge. Daryle, it's your 5th year in Harmony there, but your 2nd year as the combined superintendent and principal. A lot of responsibility there. Where are you in your preparation? You're opening on the 31st. The kids are coming a couple days later. Teachers coming in. Where are you at in your preparation? If 100% is you have everything done, where are you at right now?
Well, I would say that the stuff that you can anticipate is about 100%, right? So all your back to school and in-service stuff for your teachers, all my stuff is squared away. I take the files, I update them every year, and whatever security changes, whatever technology changes we have, any improvements we've made to the building over the summer, I make sure all that's in the plan. We got our PD all laid out for the first couple of days. It's the things that are out of your control, right? I can't control the weather. So when the electric goes off and my custodians are polishing floors, and now the polisher don't work because we don't have electric and we don't have a backup generator. All right, well, we're going to go sit down in the break room for a while and pray that the electric comes back on. And fortunately for us, we got right from the custodians all the way on up. Harmony's a special place. It's not just the name Harmony. The people that are there, the community, the custodians take great pride. I mean, the custodian cleans my computer and checks the glass on my door with a flashlight like this, and he's wiping it. Wow. The care he takes is evident. Our custodians know every student's name. They know their parents. They know what cars they drive, which is a great thing, because if something's out of place, they can tell me, hey, Mr. Weiss, that vehicle won't belong on campus. Hey, Mr. Weiss, that car looks a little funky. You better go over there and check that out. Hey, maybe we want to go into a shelter here because there's a strange car in the parking lot. And we're a small rural district, so we have state police service. So sometimes you got to wait a few minutes. But I'm about 80% where our overall building and grounds, facilities, everything is ready to go. And I would say by the time we show up, first day in service, everybody's going to be ready to go.
Nice. Well, the dogs are happy you're home.
Yeah,
right
man.
now.
The love of my life just pulled up, Andrew, my wife. So they're giving her daily greeting. I apologize. We live on a 15-acre farm, and I got 5 dogs.
You have 5 dogs.
Yeah, all adopted. Every one of them is a hunting dog that was either didn't know how to hunt or was mistreated in some way, and we take them in.
And so in the morning, you live in the type place where you could just let them out, or you got leashes? How does that work?
I got about half an acre fenced in. So they got a doggy door. They got full access to this place. My home is on loan to me from the dogs. They love it, man. I love them. They're like having 5 teenagers in my house at all times. I wouldn't have it any other way. Neither would my wife.
Beautiful. Well, you had your own teenagers, a little grown up now. Your son Marshall and your daughter Abigail, kids in their 20s there. And again, kudos to you and Kelly. 28 years. Daryle, you haven't been a lifelong educator. You've coached a long time, but you've done some different things here. You mentioned about coaching in college, assistant coach, also some acting and some comedy.
Yeah.
Tell me about all these parts of your life that led to where you are today. How are these things impacted you as a school leader today?
I think every situation I've ever been in, you're always learning, right? I'm going to learn until the minute they throw the dirt on me. But I think a lot of times you're learning what to do. And a lot of times you're learning like, hey man, if I'm in this situation, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to lead like that. You can always learn from good leaders and bad leaders. There's always a lesson learned. And, I'm a young college student and kind of fell into acting, was on a date with a girl. She said she was going to audition for the fall play. I said, I'll go along. I've never picked up a script. I didn't never think of acting. And they said, you can't come in because if you're not auditioning, you can't come in. And I was like, well, then I'm going to audition. And we're like, what sides do you want? I was like, I don't even know what sides are. Just give me the paper. I'll read it. Well, I audition and I get one of the lead roles in the fall play. And I got no business being there, Andrew. I am like, I don't know, stage, upstage, downstage, stage right, stage left. I thought break a leg was like, a bad thing, right? Because I coming from athletics, right? I'm a football coach, football player. I'm like, break a leg. That's not good. That's bad luck. And I got this lead role in the fall play, and I did that. And then I did another play in the spring, and I got cast in that. And my heart started pulling me to New York City. So I packed up and I went to Manhattan. I grew up about 12 miles west of Manhattan. So I was able to take the bus into the city till I got enough connections to be able to find a place to live, work there. I ran into an actor on the street. I said, hey, where do I get headshots? I recognized the guy. I was a famous actor. He's like, oh, I don't do autographs. I was like, no, man, I need to know where to go to headshots and where do I go to acting school? He said, well, check out Lee Strasberg Theater Institute. It's down on 14th Street, Union Square. I had no idea who Lee Strasberg was either. I didn't realize he's Simon Rothstein in The Godfather. He taught De Niro, Pacino, Marilyn Monroe, Actors Studio, the whole deal.
Wow.
Audition, went to his theater school, studied there for 2 years. I had done some stand-up comedy, just fooling around, amateur stuff. Found out about this thing called the stand-up comedy experience, learned how to write comedy. It's like anything else, man. You got to sharpen your tool every day, right? You want to write a book, you got to write every day. You want to write comedy, you got to write there you go. There you go. You got to write it every day. So it's just a matter of the focus. So the comedy, I got to perform in the city, and the woman who was the MC for the night, she was the booker. She was like, man, you're really funny. I got this college tour going out. You want to roll with that? And I was like, yeah, all right. Now, literally, I had like 5 minutes of material at the time. Well, you put 8 comics in a van and drive from New York City to some godforsaken college in upstate, New York or way out on Long Island or up in Connecticut, you're going to write some comedy. You get a cup of coffee, you sit in Union Square Park for half a day, you're going to write some comedy. You're the youngest of 7 kids and half the neighborhood. I used to like to say I'm the youngest of 7 and half the neighborhood. I got some stories around a dinner table. So I just started writing this stuff down, and the next thing you know, it's growing into stand-up. So I'm doing stand-up. I'm going to acting school. I'm auditioning. I'm getting a commercial here, a voiceover there. I'm starting to move along. And then my sister came to see me at a play festival in the city. I was doing 7 different characters, like 2-minute like monologues, just boom, boom. And they were all different. I played a 12-year-old boy. I played an old man. I played an Irish boxer. I did a bunch of different things. And she brought her friend. And then I met her friend again at my niece's communion. And that's my wife, Kelly, 28 years later. So Kelly stopped my acting career because I said, I want to marry this girl and I got to have a reliable job. And I always loved kids. I always loved teaching. And I thought if I can't perform on Broadway, I'm going to perform in a classroom every day and work with great effort. So transitioned into teaching and coaching.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Did you move out to Blairstown at that when you got married, or did you kind of slowly move your way out to North Carolina?
It's crazy. We lived 2 years in sort of the Blairstown area. We're over in Sussex County. And I was teaching in my hometown, driving down Route 80 every day for about, 45-minute commute if there's no traffic, 3 hours if there's traffic. Coaching football, trying to put together some money, raising a baby, right? My son Marshall was born. We did that for 2 or 3 years. And my brother Billy had moved up to Maine. And he's like, man, it's vacation land. It's beautiful up here. You should come into business with me. You should be a salesman for me. So I was all set to do that. And I was like, all right. So I'm kind of starting to think about that. I'm getting my license to start doing some sales stuff with him because it required licensing. And he sends me this. Andrew, it was so long ago. He sent me a paper clipping out of the Sunday Portland Press Herald. They had a head football coach and special education teacher at Rockland District High School. Well, I said, what the heck? I mailed my stuff up there. 2 days later, they call me and they're like, we want to interview. I'm a 28-year-old kid. I'm like the 9th assistant on the bench down there. You know what I mean? I'm the guy after the ball boy that they ask his opinion at the time. And I had interviewed a few places, and I'd worked for some pretty high-profile football coaches in the state of New Jersey. I go up there and I interview, and they're like, they're the losingest program in the state. They won 9 games in 10 years before I got there. They had like 20 kids in the program. So they interview me, and they offer me the job, my wife, my son. And I packed up a U-Haul and moved to Maine and bought a house. And I was the head football coach and eventually worked in AD head football coach there, taught special ed, and then moved one more stop for 1 year in high school. I sent out over 500 applications to be a college football coach. I got one response. I got one interview. Mark Harriman at Bates College. They call it the little Ivy League, the NESCAC schools, Bates, Bowdoin, Colby. Everybody knows Amherst and Williams. Right, but the big 3 in Maine are Bates, Bowdoin, Colby. Coach Harriman called me in, and now, mind you, I'm the athletic director and head football coach at a high school at the time. Up there at the time, I'm probably making $65,000. I'm richer than the governor. And he says, I want to offer you the job. And I said, okay. And he said, I can pay you $27,000. Andrew, I couldn't get up and shake his hand fast enough. I just wanted the opportunity. And my wife went back to work. She supported me. I was driving 75 miles each day. We wound up moving over near the campus. She got a job in food service on campus. Talk about dedication to her husband and to her family. Had our second child, and Coach Harriman, I worked as the offensive line coach and recruiting coordinator and video coordinator for $27,000 with a wife and 2 kids for 2.5 years. Wow. Our offensive coordinator left, and I said, Coach, I'd like the opportunity to interview for the position. And he said, Daryle, you've proven you want to be a college football coach. You're not interviewing for a position that you've earned. He said, I don't care if they bring in Lou Holtz and some other high-profile college coach to interview for the position. The position's yours. You go home and tell your wife you doubled your salary. I was like, oh, yeah. So I was the offensive coordinator at Bates for, 5 years. And had a really good turnaround there. And then I went to RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic, up in Troy, New York. I was there with Coach I and that staff for a couple of years as the offense coordinator. And then I started the college football program, Sprint Football, which is like the old lightweight football league, if you ever heard about it. Yeah. Caldwell University was starting it. And the Dominican Sisters run Caldwell University. And they taught me in K-8 at St. Aloysius School in Caldwell. So my heart went out for that. I got to come home and be a head college football coach in my town. and start the program. And I did that for about 2.5 years. Lifestyle, man, right? Balance. It took me till I was probably late 40s to figure out I need a little more balance, right? College coaches don't have a lot of balance. And my kids were growing up, and things for my family were more important than other people's kids and families at that point, right? I had teenage kids. I had to be a dad and a father and a leader. So I stepped back. I got hired in the Caldwell West Caldwell School District as a middle school special education teacher. 2020, COVID hit. Our principal, who was the most fit guy and one of the best dudes on the planet, we used to race each other to the office in the morning, see who could get there earlier after we both got our morning workout and meditation and routines in. Talked a lot about leadership with Jim. He passed away. He was one of the first people to die of COVID in the state of New Jersey. And it absolutely crushed me. Absolutely crushed me. And they brought in a guy to replace him, and very good guy, but wasn't Jim. And I said, I can do what I want to do what Jim does. I want to lead and help people like Jim. I want to make a bigger impact on kids. Got my master's degree from Montclair State University. There's our Dr. Gilbert connection. And just, got my master's, passed the praxis, interviewed at Harmony Township School and became principal there. Worked my way up, had enough administration. And when the superintendent retired, they promoted me and combined the position in the superintendent and principal. And here I am, man, 55 years old and a lifetime in education and coaching and comedy. And acting.
What a story, Dad. When's the movie? When's the movie coming out?
I'm not that unique, man. I'm just a grinder. You want to get ahead, work harder than everybody else, man. There's no special sauce. I didn't get a Harvard degree. Right? My mom was a bus driver. My dad was a carpenter. My dad worked 27 million different jobs, though. I got a work ethic and a self-responsibility from my parents. Like, you own you. No one else is the boss of you. Mom and dad are guiding you until you're 18. You're going to figure out life, or life's going to figure you out. And my dad always taught me, man, you treat people with respect. Even sometimes when you don't think they deserve your respect, you continue to respect them. And I kind of carry that. My parents lived with me for the last 20 years of their lives. They both died in my living room, my house, with my kids and my family around them. Greatest experience I ever had, Andrew. People mourn the passing of their parents. I got all the wisdom and all the answers, right? My brothers and sisters didn't live with them for 20 years. They were all crying, and I'm smiling. And they're like, what is wrong with you? And I said, let me tell you something. That guy right there, man, I know every secret. I've had him next to me for 20 years. Hey, Dad, what do I do here? What do I do when Marshall does this? What do I do when Abby comes home with a boy? I had all that guidance sitting right next to me. And my mom. My mom was just, she was the glue that held our family together. Wow. So having the influence of those two right up and my wife is a saint. She allowed them to live with us for 20 years. She was the caretaker of them at the end of their lives, right? So pretty cool, but I'm not that unique. I just learned my work ethic from my parents. I don't sleep a lot, Andrew. 4.5 hours a day, enough for Coach Weiss.
Incredible here, Daryle, but you're in a different chapter now. So tell me, what are the ingredients that you're taking from the coaching, the college level, the different things you did, the acting? You have so many different parts there.
Sure.
What are the things that you're bringing to Harmony each day that are impacting kids and your staff?
Treat others how you want to be treated. Communication, relationships, respect, and trust. Teamwork. Like those are the core of whatever organization I'm a part of, and especially if I'm asked to build an organization. Trust, right? When I was a football coach, I would say, you got to trust the guy next to you to do his job or someone's going to get hurt. And we would break down huddles, and I would say, hey, don't say it if you don't mean it. Guys talk about brotherhood and all that stuff. Listen, man, there's a limit to that, right? Because especially when you get to the college level and guys got all different kinds of stuff going on, right? Not everybody's a saint playing college sports. But on Saturdays, we got to be one unit. We got to trust each other. So building those trusts, saying what you do and doing what you say. Like, lead from the front, right? I'm the first guy in other than the custodian. Kevin, only because I don't know how to do the keypad. He won't show me the security pad. He's like, man, you set the alarm off. I got to get out of bed anyway. but I'm there, and I'm, the last one to leave every day. That's how you do it, and be visible to your people. There's a difference between leadership and management. A lot of people get into educational leadership and they manage people. I don't manage people. I manage situations that occur, but I don't manage the people in them. Right? I got a lot of great, great teachers in my building. I give them the tools that they need to make our kids meet and exceed the standards. Give them all the tools they need. I try never to say no to something when a teacher's got a good idea about how it's going to directly affect children and education. It's the same thing on a football field. I'm not the smartest guy in football. I don't want to be the smartest guy on the football field. I just want to be the guy that wins, right? That's a coach's philosophy. Don't be the smartest guy, be the guy that wins. That's all I want to do. So taking that, and a kid comes to you and says, Coach, if we run this, it's going to work, because they're the ones on the field, right? The students are the ones in the classroom. The teachers are the ones in the classroom. If they're telling me this is what's going on, why do I got to have a full scale, let's pilot that and investigate? Good ideas are chopped down at their roots based from committees. Man, oh man, let's form a committee. People love to form committees. I like making decisions and helping kids. So sometimes maybe I'm a little impatient. Maybe I go a little too fast. And that's probably where the gentle part's got to get better in Daryle. I got to know how to slow down, because everything with me is like 100 miles an hour. Let's go. I'm all in. If I'm in, I'm in. So,
well, you're into this podcast, and I'm loving it. Friends, if you're watching, jump in, say hello to Daryle, put a question in the chat, and man, this is great stuff, Daryle. Some of your mindsets, some of the things that you've shared. Again, Dr. Gilbert in there. Dominate the day.
Yes,
is one of your mindsets. 1% better every day. Tell me about these mindsets. Tell me how you live them. Tell me how you model them, and how did they become part of your life?
Well, again, I think exposure, right? You meet people, and different people affect you. And, I kind of always knew it, but I never had the words dominate the day, right? Carpe diem. It's the 2026 way of saying carpe diem, right? Seize the day, dominate the day, pretty much that mentality. I had a chance to work with kind of one of Dr. Gilbert's guys, right? One of the guys that does mental coaching, mental performance. We brought him in when I was at RPI, and and he said, some of you guys are sitting there thinking this is hokey, but you'll give it a shot. You'll give it a shot. You'll see that it works. And then you'll say, I can't believe I ever did it any other way, And the way he got to me was, he said, Coach, you spend 100 hours a week on game plan and recruiting. You spend this. You spend 45 minutes. You eat for 5, and then you run downstairs and you're running the stadium steps and playing racquetball and lifting weights and trying to stay healthy. And, you probably drink too much coffee, but you're pretty much living, a crazy lifestyle, but you're pretty healthy. You're not, I don't have bad habits, right? I don't have any bad physical habits. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke cigarettes. None of that stuff ever really excites me. So I just kind of, so I work out, I try to stay fit. And he said, but you got to take care of yourself. If you're going to dominate the day, and he started to talk about this mentality, and I'm like, is this really going to work? He's like, yeah, you spend all this time on your body, but you don't spend any time between your ears, man. You're athletes. They panic in pressure situations because they spent all year lifting weights and learning plays, but nobody knows how to coach between the ears. That's what I'm here for. And when he taught it to me like that, I was like, all right, man, I've always kind of charted this course myself, and I thought it was a private business. My brain's open for business. I'm willing to listen to you. And as soon as I said that, it changed the way I coached. And I wasn't a yeller and screamer. I'm a technician. I'm a teacher. Classroom, football field, doesn't matter. But it just changed my mindset to, I have the right here and right now, the next 200 feet. You're on a dark road at night and there's headlights on. You throw the high beams on. How far down the road can you see? About 200 feet. You can plan for the curve up ahead, right? I'm not saying don't plan for the future, but you're here and now. How are you affecting people in the here and now? Yes, you should have a plan. Yes, you should look into the future, but you got to be where your feet are at. When Brian kind of taught us that, It was that one day, one play mentality, 4.5 seconds of mayhem, one play at a time. No such thing as momentum, right? And I'm going back to football because that's where I learned this stuff from, right? From Brian. I was officially trained. I kind of always knew it as a player and as a coach, but I could never articulate it the way he did. So I took that when I went back into education. I was like, hey, man, I'm teaching during COVID. Kids are like, ceiling fans and LED lights. I saw a lot of that. So what did I do? I dove through the screen at these kids. I blared music. I was like, are you ready to rumble? Let's go, baby. Dominate the day. Like, I cranked up the coach aspect to get them to, who's going to open Of Mice and Men when they're laying in their bed for first period language arts class with Mr. Weiss? Are you kidding me, man? I'd rather look at the ceiling fan and my LED lights. So I had to do something. So I just cranked it up. And the response I got was my kids were attending class during COVID. I could see their faces on the screen. They were engaged. Of Mice and Men, not an easy read for an 8th grader, right? Not the easiest ending in the world either, right? Lenny has a bad outcome there. But teaching it, and I could have just said, it's COVID. I could have made mistakes. I could have just bag it, But the dominate the day mentality followed me back into the classroom. And Brian said one other thing to us. He was like, hey, if you can get these guys 1% better by getting them extra reps, by getting them this, by getting them that, imagine how good they're going to be by the time they're seniors. Imagine how good they're going to be in 12 weeks. I took that myself. I said, at the time I was probably like 46. I said, if I get 1% better at something every day from now until the day I die, man, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be looking like the Sistine Chapel or nothing, but I'm going to be a better work in progress when I meet my maker. So I've kind of always knew that from my mom and dad, but they were old school, survivors of the Great Depression, hardworking blue collar people, 12th grade education, get after it, go out in the world, make your way. But coupled with the stuff I've learned from the mental performance stuff, I feel just lucky and blessed every day that I have those tools to use.
Daryl's referencing Brian Kane, the great Brian Kane, a disciple of Dr. Gilbert, Mental Performance Daily. Check him out. He's on the app, certainly, and Dr. Gilbert, the Success Hotline. And Daryl, it's great to hear you were impacted by a speaker. That's one of the things I have a great passion for as well. That's where you and I connected. Daryle, here's a quick word on that. If you just give me a second.
Are you looking for a speaker for your next event? What is it? Opening day of school, a summer leadership event, professional development for next year, a business meeting? Andrew Murata is ready to be your speaker. For the past 7 years, Andrew has been speaking to schools, businesses, and civic organizations, bringing energy, enthusiasm, and real connection to every audience. Connect with Andrew to learn more. He would be honored and excited to support your team with spirit, motivation, and inspiration you're looking for.
Thank you for that, Daryle. Friends, this is Daryle Weiss, Superintendent and Principal, Harmony District Schools in New Jersey. Daryle, I love the passion. I love what you're bringing here. I can feel the energy. I'm certainly 1% better today, and I appreciate it. Friends, jump in the chat. Say hello to Daryle. Daryle, summertime here, still in the Northeast, right? We're not in schools yet. Other parts of the country are still in school. What are some things different that you do in the summer? What's a summer routine? You mentioned the dogs earlier, but we don't have bells right now. We don't have classes. Our routine is a little different. Tell me about your summer leadership here and some things some routines that you do a little differently.
Well, the first 2 weeks after school gets out, whatever the last day of our school is, I go in a little later. All right, I get there about 7:30 instead of 5 a.m., 5:30, 6. But I like to kind of reflect on what could we have done better, right? We had 183 opportunities to get these kids better. What could we have done better this year as a school, as a principal, as a superintendent? And I think a lot of time we're so worried about deadlines and paperwork and state paperwork and this and that. We don't take time to reflect on what we just did. Putting together 180 school days where every kid got on and off the bus, every kid ate breakfast and lunch, every kid had recess, every kid had math, English, science, social studies, all the specials, all the things that the teachers bring, all the outside speakers, all the fun projects, all the great school days, the vacations, the weather, all the crazy stuff that happens. You got to take time to reflect on that. So I try to do that. And that's where I get on the computer and I take notes about, this is my plan for next year. It's the postseason breakdown in football, right? The end of the season, you take all the stats on the season. You say, we got to do this better. We got to learn more about this. I do the same thing for the 2 weeks when I get out of school. And then it's right back into it, right? I take some time with my family. We own a farm here. We got all kinds of animals, horses, chickens, pigs, 5 dogs. It's a lot to maintain. My wife is the only person I've ever met that matches my physical energy and work. So she and I just do it together. So in the summer, I have more time to dedicate to doing that. I work a more focused day in the summer, right? Like I said, I'll go in about 7:30. I'll work till about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And then I'm going to put the cell phone down. I'm not going to answer emails. I'm going to take some time to kind of reboot my brains. Because if it can't get done in an 8.5 hour day when no one's around, guess what, man? It ain't getting done in September when you add 200 kids to it and 40 staff members. Not happening. So take some time for yourself in the summer and plan. Have a plan. What are the deadlines, right? We get the monthly updates from the county office about, hey, these are the deadlines coming up for paperwork. Get out in front of that stuff. I don't like getting emails that says I missed something. Hey, you missed the deadline. I'm like, man, that ain't me. I'm not that guy. I don't want to be that guy, because sooner or later that catches up to whoever that guy is. And the amount of stress that I have by worrying about missing the deadline, just do it now. Next 200 feet, it's in front of me. Let me get it done. Boom. And move forward. And then, again, right now, I'm scaling back for a couple weeks because I know I got kindergarten orientation. Then I got the staff coming in. They'll be setting up their rooms, even though they don't need to. We got a dedicated staff. They're all in the last 2 weeks, August, getting their rooms ready. And then we're into in-service. So I'm trying to step back and work, not banker's hours, but a little bit more balance and enjoy some things. I took yesterday off and played a round of golf with my buddy at a beautiful golf course and couldn't have had a better day.
It was a beautiful day yesterday.
Oh, man, it was nice.
Yeah. It's either been raining up here or blazing hot. So yesterday was a good one.
Yeah, it was good.
Good for you, Daryle. Daryle, this has been great. Something else you wanted to share that I haven't asked you?
No, I think one of the things I do want to say, Andrew, I wasn't sure if I could bring up Brian. Brian's a big influence, but meeting you, I knew right away when I walked in the room and you walked over and you're like, you're Daryle with the E. And I was like, yep. And it's funny. It's like, kind of takes one to know one. You were like kind of looking at me like, you're a little different. What's different about this guy? I'm like, he's at this little tiny school. And I was like, yeah, I got a little different background. And then I saw that you were a ref. I was like, oh man, this is crazy. Good thing you were a basketball official, because if you were a football official, I don't know if we could even be friends now, right?
You threw the red flag out. You got to run that one back.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, this is a guy I definitely got to connect with. And then you spoke to our group. We have the superintendent's group, and I was like, man, this is spot on. This is, it's always good to get reassured that what I'm doing is right. You know what I mean? I'm in your world a little bit with the mentality and the mindset. You're focused on education and leadership. And like I said, there's a huge difference between leadership and management, man. And managing people is not the way you want to lead a school. It just isn't. And if you're struggling if you don't know, you should probably call Andrew or one of these other guys to come in and help you out, and it's not a pitch for you, Andrew. I'm telling you. I'm like, yeah, this guy knows what it's about, because there's people that are in education that manage, and they probably just don't know there's a better way. And it's probably easier on your heart and your lifestyle, right? Those morning routines that you and I know you do them. I know I do them. The morning routine. I mean, I get up, I feed the animals, I come inside. The animals are the priority, right? They're like children. If you don't feed them, they don't eat. We get outside. My wife and I, we go outside, we do the animals. We come in, we shower. We take our time separate. We come back to the kitchen table. We eat breakfast. Then we talk about our day. We make our plan. What time are we going to be home? Who's cooking dinner? What do we got tonight? What do the kids got? Do we need to be at anything? Can you come to my thing? Can I go to your thing? And then we just kind of move on. But those routines that guys like you have taught me over the years is so impactful on leadership. Take care of yourself before you take care of others. It's that simple.
Well, here you are taking care of somebody, man. What a beautiful picture!
I didn't even know they took
And
that.
I mean, look at that thing. Your back must be hurting going, your posture
Yeah.
there, but that was beautiful, and it says a lot about you and the work you're doing now. So, thank you for being the leader that you are, Daryle, and Harmony's lucky to have you there. That's a great shot.
My first
Yeah.
grade teacher snuck up on me and took that photo, and then our tech aide put that little quote underneath it, and they posted it before I knew what hit. I was like, wow, that's just an average day. That's a Tuesday in Harmony right there.
They're building a memory of a lifetime. So congratulations there. Daryle, let's get to rapid fire, man, so you can get back to the farm and enjoy your night tonight. These are quick questions, Daryle. This is a quick review on an instant replay for you here. All right, you ready?
Ready.
Here we go. Last movie you saw.
Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Jackson movie. Yep.
You
Awesome.
enjoyed it?
Unbelievable.
What's your go-to Michael Jackson song? What's something like?
Oh, man, Thriller, mini movie. Thriller. You got to have the video with it, though. Oh, yeah.
Last concert you went to?
ZZ Top last summer. Foghat and ZZ Top at Music Fest in the Lehigh Valley. My wife loves ZZ Top. I went and I had an experience.
Last song you sang out loud in the car?
No sleep till Brooklyn. Down. About 45 minutes ago, Andrew, on the way home, man.
Beastie Boys today.
Love the Beastie Boys, man. They rock. One of my favorites.
That's
I can go from them to Willie Nelson, though, so I'm all over the place with music, too.
Okay. Friends, North Jersey is a beautiful part of the country. You can get to New York City, but you're out in this farm country. So Blairstown, New Jersey is, fill in the blank.
Peaceful, quiet, welcoming, and at the same time private.
Yeah, he's right. It's a really interesting part of the
Area.
country. In 2027, I will fill in the blank.
I told you I will write my first book.
Yeah, and I want to help you with that. You have a story to tell, Daryle. The experiences of comedy, acting, and coaching. I mean, what a great combination there. Yeah, it's going to be like a meal that everyone can have a bite of.
Yeah, like you said, man, it's about telling stories. I got a few of them.
You modeled it today for sure. Daryle, again, New York City, your background here, your favorite dish?
Come on, man. All the Italian kids that I grew up with, Sunday dinner, veal parmesan or chicken parmesan at my best friend Bobby Inzio's house when I was a little kid. His dad was my football coach. If I could get Maria to make me veal parmesan just one more time in my life before I die, I go to heaven, I'd be a happy man. Veal parmesan anywhere, veal or chicken, doesn't matter.
Bobby Enzio.
Oh, yeah. Best friend growing up, and his dad owned the body shop, and he was our football coach. Great man. First guy I called after my parents to tell him I got a head football job in college.
How about that? What's the best meal you're making?
Best meal I make is stuff in the slow cooker. You know what? I shouldn't say I'm a pretty good pulled pork guy, but I think I can handle myself in the kitchen a little bit with the steaks and the chops and that kind of stuff. My wife owned a restaurant, so I'm telling you, when it comes to the food, Andrew, I outkick my coverage. She can take a can of tuna fish and turn it into some 5-course meal that you can't recognize. She's an unbelievable cook.
Wow. Where are you getting away to? I know you got the farm there. Where are you going to the Jersey Shore? Where's your vacation spot?
We just planned for 27. I'm a year out because of booking. We're going to go out west. I lived out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I worked in Yellowstone National Park for a summer. My wife's never been out there. I've been telling her about it for 20 years. We're at a point now where I spent a full day last week and I booked the plane, the rental car, all the hotels. We got it mapped. We're talking about it every day, and that's where we're going. She gets out of school the day after I do, and the day after that, we're getting on Newark Airport, June 18th to June 30th. Coach Weiss will do his reflection, or Mr. Weiss will be doing his reflection in the Great Lamar Valley at Yellowstone National Park while I'm watching the bison, the wolves, and the grizzlies. That's where I'm going, baby.
Good for you, man. That's a beautiful trip. Good for you. A pet peeve of yours. You shared a lot of passions. What's something that gets under your skin?
Dishonesty. just come clean, man. Admit it. There's no problem too big to solve, right? Sometimes you got to pay the piper, right? Sometimes you've done some really bad things that you got, the legal system. But I'm just talking, it's easier. My dad used to tell me the cover up's always worse than, the crime. Don't lie. Just don't be dishonest. When you make a mistake, tell people, own it, and then move forward. It's their choice if they want to allow you to still be part of their life, right? I can tell you that. I'm clear cut on that. There's people I've cut out of my life because they're dishonest. I don't trust them. Do it to me once, shame on you. Do it to me twice, same thing, shame on me, right? So forgive and forget. I forgive, I forget, I forgive, I forget. But at some point when you're working with adults, I'm not talking children, right? Kids, different. They get a special place with me. But, dishonesty would be a pet peeve of mine.
Well said there. You're a sports guy. I mean, we got a ton of teams in this area in the Northeast. Who's your team? Who are you rooting for? Who's your sports team?
I'm going to duck out of the frame because everybody's going to say, oh, he's going to say the Giants, the Jets, or the Eagles. Well, Daryle with an E, which is how we got introduced to each other, right? You remembered to put the E on the end of my name, comes from Daryle Weiss, who was the quarterback at Notre Dame and then played for the Oakland Raiders. And being that I'm the youngest of 7, if I was a boy, the boys got to name me. They were Irish fans and Notre Dame fans and Raider fans. So I'm Daryle with an E because of Daryle Weiss. So I'm Oakland Raiders and go Irish.
Okay. Will you get out to Vegas to go to the new stadium there?
I would love to get out there. I want to hit South Bend again this year. I got a nephew that lives out there. My brother's got a house out there. My brother's not. My one brother, he dresses as a leprechaun. He's in the stands. He was part of their he was the head of the Air Force ROTC program. So he's kind of embedded out there a little bit. Everybody knows him. So I just go out and hang on his coattails and enjoy the ride.
So you enjoyed the Welcome to Notre Dame story that day we met.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's so fitting, man.
If money was no object, what's your favorite hobby?
Farming.
What you're doing?
You want to lose money, right? Buy a boat or buy a farm. So if money was no object, I'd have probably a 500 to 1,000 acre ranch out in Montana. Wow. Just ride around on a horse and follow cows or whatever they do out there. I'd figure it out. I grew up by a 50 by 100 lot, so I'd have a lot of learning to do, but that's my dream. Live on a big ranch.
Something about Daryle Weiss that people do not know about.
I can actually be serious. I got a big personality, but I'm actually, I would say, very professional, very open, very fun guy to be around, but I have very few close friends. And the guys I got are ride or die, right? They're the 2 a.m. friends. They ain't the 6 o'clock at night friend. Help me move a couch. These are the guys you call at 2 a.m. You say, hey, I got a problem. And you can't ask any questions and I need this. And they go, all right. I got like 3 of them, and if you got 1, you're blessed. If you got 3, I'm just the luckiest guy alive. I know it. And I'm not talking bad stuff. I'm just talking guys that I know I can talk to, and it doesn't go anywhere but between me and them, man to man.
Yeah. We can certainly joke and have fun, but we're in a serious business. We don't want to take ourselves too seriously, but dealing with kids and their lives and their impact. So well said. Daryle, a million quotes you worked into the show here, just so you could tell the way you speak. But what's one that you want to end the show with, a quote that's hanging on your wall?
Well, it's hanging on the wall in my office. Dominate the day. It sits on the wall in my kitchen on the chalkboard. Dominate the day. I mean, it is what it is, right? I hope no one's offended by that because I just want your child, when you walk into our building, to have the best day of their life. I want them to get after it from the second they walk in, be excited about learning, know that they're loved and cared for and protected. So dominate the day, 1% better daily. That's kind of my mantra.
Daryle Weiss, friends, Harmony Township School District. This has been a lot of fun, Daryle. Have a great year. Year 2 in the dual role. Year 5 in the district. And I know you're gonna have a great year. So God bless, my friend.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for all the stuff you've done for me too. Appreciate it.
Keep surviving and thriving. Let's connect on that book for sure. We've been trained by the Jedi Master, Dr. Gilbert. So I know you'll knock it out of the park.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Daryle. All right, friends, leave Daryle a positive comment. Daryle, stay on the line a second and continue to survive and thrive, friends.